again with another video. So it's been, I was gonna say it's been a while, but it hasn't actually been that long. But I figured, let me make a video and see, what's coming to mind, what I want to say, what the Holy Spirit is working through me to say these past, I can't even say these past few weeks. I guess so, this past week, you know what I mean? But also, it is January the 6th, so we just started a new year. Almost a week into the new year, and already so much has transpired. So much has transpired, and yeah, you know what I mean? And I'm just really, because I know this is the direction that I do actually want to go in, so it's just almost like, what is it that I want to say to anybody, even if it was my younger self, if it was Shemaya, if it was another woman? What is it that I would want to say, you know what I mean, after everything that I've kind of been through these last 4+ years, and just the ups and downs of it, you know what I mean? So one of the things I think that's so big to me now is, you know what I mean, especially now that I've gone through certain things, and now that I can actually look back, one of the things I would say, you know what I mean, it's been really challenging for me to even explain what type of spiritual warfare that, you know what I mean, what it is, what you'll go through. And I definitely think that in one of the series that I would definitely like to tackle is talking about, in terms of spirituality, is talking about, spiritual warfare and what to expect, and also what not to do when you're in it, and also what to do when you are in it, and just better ways to deal with it, you know what I mean? Because I felt like during that time I was all over the place, and I was searching for so many different answers from so many different places, talking to so many different people, just so I could understand what's going on, because at times it will feel as though your world is falling apart. It will feel like chaos is constantly consuming you, and it will feel like you can't catch a break, you can't catch your footing on anything, and then you'll also feel like you're going crazy, so the thing about that too, why I had to, sometimes you catch yourself and sometimes you don't, sometimes it's too late, is because without knowing what you're going through, you can talk to people. The thing about talking with people is, unless you're actually talking to individuals that know exactly specifically what you are going through, it's very difficult for anybody to give you advice. It's extremely difficult, very, very difficult. So a lot of people also they don't know. It's not so much what you're going through, it's also they don't know how to deal with it, because also it's only when there's specific individuals, and I think that's what's going to be the message for this video. There are certain things, certain challenges, certain circumstances that, believe it or not, you are blessed for. You are blessed to deal with certain situations, and that's an outcome and that's an outlook, I should say, that I've come to realize, because when you're going through it, trust and believe. You do not feel like it is a blessing. Not at all. However, it's a blessing that you have gone through it, because then with everything that you've gone through, you've acquired certain things, whether it's skill sets, mindsets, disposition of the heart, strategies. You're the chosen one to go through all of that, and because of that, you're the one that's now equipped actually to give the better advice to people, to warn people, right? Again, you're not going to feel like that's what is happening to you. You're bit cursed. But trust and believe there's certain things that, and our challenges and circumstances are all different and unique to us. But best believe that there's certain things that only you have been equipped to deal with. Now, mind you, not to say that there's people who aren't going through similar situations. Absolutely there are. You know what I mean? There's so many of us out here. But we just need the voice. We just need to be able to speak up, and we need to be able to use the gifts that God has placed in us, which is exactly the gifts that you get from actually going through those trials. And you need to be able to share it with others, not keep it all to yourself, because God never gave us anything in life, even if it's a challenge, just to now whatever the outcome God from it, the blessings and the gifts of it, just to keep it to ourselves. It's to go out there and teach others, warn others what not to do, you know. So it's interesting. It's interesting this perspective. And it's only once I've actually gone through it. And it's not to say once you go through one warfare, that's it. You're never going to go through another situation. You absolutely will. You absolutely will go through another situation, another warfare. But if anything, it's like an analogy that that helps me to kind of get my mind focused and get my perspective back. It's just like, listen, even when you go on a job, whatever job position that you applied for, you know what I mean? They teach you so much. But as you advance and as you open yourself up and as there's other positions and as you do other things, you acquire new skill sets. You acquire new things. So, or it's like your tool belt, you know what I mean? Like a tool belt. You may have a hammer, you may have a wrench, you may have this, but then there's other things along the way that you might actually want to put in there. It's the same thing like that as you go through life, especially if you're a spiritual warrior. One thing is not going to be sufficient enough. You're going to need multiple things, especially when you get to different levels. It's not the same. It's not the same. The same type of opponent that you're facing, it might be similar, but it's not the same in terms of level-wise, like level 10 to level 25. Let's just say the opponent that you have to face at level 25, listen, this opponent is strategic. This opponent knows exactly how to defeat you, knows exactly your flaws, and knows exactly how to get one over you and win. So you gotta stay fighting. You gotta stay in that kind of a spirit too. There's times where you have to calm down, and sometimes there's, you know what I mean, you have to kind of relax and not always be in training mode. But the thing about it is that when you are in training mode, pay attention to what you're picking up. Pay attention. Don't fall into the trap that, you know what I mean, you can't defeat this, or you can't pass this level, or you can't, you know, overcome this challenge, whatever it is. Right? Gotta let it work through you. Let it work for you. Even if you have to fail a few times, get your behind whooped. Get your behind whooped, because guess what happens? It doesn't matter whatever the challenge is, because what happens then is that you remember subconsciously, you remember what it feels like to lose. Sometimes, a lot of us, and maybe this is a prophetic message for somebody, but when is the last time you've lost? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you've got so accustomed and so used to winning all the time, even if it's small battles. But you're comfortable now, so you can win this one. But when have you actually challenged yourself, stepped into an arena, stepped into something brand new that you don't even know how to get past? An example of that, how that looks like in day-to-day life, is when's the last time that you applied for a job, you got a job that you have no qualifications for, or you don't even know what you're doing? When's the last time also you applied to school, to something else other than what you're interested in? When is the last time you actually worked that brain? When's the last time that, you know what, like, let's say, and any of those who have the capability, you've actually moved away. You moved to a different place, different country, and had to learn how to survive. When's the last time also, like, you stepped away from your family unit, your community? Challenge yourself to actually live in another place, learn another language, learn another culture, learn another religion. When's the last time? And a lot of the times, I guarantee you, you know what I mean, that they don't want to because they'd rather stay comfortable. But to those who actually dare to continue to allow God to keep sharpening them, because as the Bible says, you know what I mean, iron sharpens iron, meaning if I'm sharp, I'm gonna sharpen you. We're weapons. We're all weapons. If you're sharp, you must sharpen me. It's gonna look different to both of us, but go out there and sharpen your tools, sharpen your skills. Do that, however it looks like to you. Get in the uncomfortable and do it. And it will feel awful. I'm not even going to deny that it won't feel awful. Go out there and do it. But there's some of you also, and then also, when you're doing it, be prepared to lose. You might win one every now and then, or you might be, I don't even believe in luck, but you know what I mean? You might be able to actually, because it's, first time doing it, there's no anticipation, there's no expectation there, so you might actually surprise yourself and surprise your opponent and beat the first round. But continue. I challenge you also. That would be the challenge for some of you guys. Lose at something. And even for those who have been losing, you know what the challenge is for you? Keep going. Because at some point you've got to understand, what is this teaching you? There's something that you've got to learn from this. Whether yes, the defeats feel awful, and it feels like your world is falling apart, and it feels like you can't do anything and you can't get past this. However, the lesson that God is trying to tell you also is that, or maybe trying to show you, get you to understand that, what are you made out of? What are you actually made out of? What type of qualities do you actually have within you? And maybe that's something that maybe you need to cultivate, and maybe you need to really pay attention to. Are you a patient person? Can you endure long suffering? Can you endure these things? Right? Do you easily give up? Do you believe in something much higher than you, and believe in not just only your own strength? Right? Are you a warrior? Are you just making the decision that you're not just going to give up like that, and you're going to do the absolute best you can? I don't just say that you're going to do it, but you actually do it. Right? And for those who haven't lost in a while, maybe whatever you're going through is also to let you know that, it's good to be humble every now and then. Too much power also isn't beneficial for one person, because your power isn't supposed to just benefit you. Then that's not a good use of power. It's supposed to benefit others. But have you fallen into the trap of thinking that the power that you have is just for you? Right? Are you teaching others? Are you helping others? Right? There's lots of different things you can look at it, right? Also, even when in the face of adversity, even when things are not going your way, can you remain positive? Can you also get back up, bounce back from defeat after defeat after defeat? I'll tell you, after a while, it weighs you down, and after a while, you get annoyed. Can you? gets it. She finally gets it. She's finally on board. Finally. Because a lot of times we may say we're on board with God's plan. We're on board with God's will. Absolute will for our life. But in reality, we're very, very hesitant and resistant. And including myself, I was too. Because especially, like, you know what I mean? Like, I could speak on behalf of people who've gone through traumatic things, who've gone through traumatic childhoods, adulthood, just traumatic stuff in general, you know? Sickness, all that stuff, you know? So, once you go through stuff like that, the challenge is also to rise above that. And also to get to a place of, you know what, God, I'm completely surrendered. What is it that you want to do in my life? Because I'm being perfectly honest, when you go through stuff, your trust level is down, 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 down. And I have to be perfectly honest. Like, I knew I loved God in my heart, but did I trust? And especially when I got into a place where I'm like, okay, I knew this is where I was supposed to go. Once I started my spiritual journey, I knew this is where I was supposed to go. But then afterwards, now when I do things, but then subconsciously afterwards, I was trying to wrap my head around, okay, why did I make the decisions? And I just didn't understand, you know. And it's not even for me to understand. It's for what the Holy Spirit is guiding you to do, right? But yeah, there was still a hesitation on my part because I'm not quite sure if, okay, God, is this the right way that you're taking me on? Right? Because the trust comes from, you want to guard your heart. You want to guard the circumstances so that you don't have to feel. So you don't have to feel certain things again. You don't have to feel certain emotions. You don't have to feel the disappointments. You don't have to feel that. Because in feeling that, it makes you human. It makes you weak. It makes you question everything. It makes you very discouraged. I was trying to find the right word. It can make you feel really discouraged and beaten down. God is good. God still there saying, just take my hand. Don't you take my hand. And just trust me. I know it looks bad right now. But trust me. It won't always look like this. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. And one of the things that I love about God and how God does things is that God is not just going to just take you to one thing and bring you to your absolute destination where you're supposed to be. No. No, no, no. No. When you actually follow God's will, God will be like the GPS system that's constantly rerouting. Oh, you know what? Guess what? I want you to go here. Go down the street. And as you go, you're being obedient. And then God all of a sudden switches up, saying, you know what? I want you to go here. Make it right. Oh. Make it right. You're like, okay, God, but and then again, you gotta recalibrate yourself because you're there be thinking like, oh my God, this is not the plan. Thomas Foster was constantly going straight. Why are we turning now? I don't want to turn. I wasn't prepared to turn. I don't want to do this. And again, God's still there saying, trust me. He actually doesn't even say trust me. He really doesn't, to be perfectly honest. God just be sitting back, being like, okay, here we go again. When she's done with the temper tantrum, when she's done with the complaining, when you're done with the moping, when you're done feeling sorry for yourself, when you're done with the woe is me, when you're done being angry, when you're done being bitter, all right, let's get back on this journey. Install on yourself. It's two ways it can happen, two things that can happen. Either you're just going to accept this the way that you have to go, and you're going to be content about it, or you're going to be miserable about it. But you get to choose which state you want to be in, because this could be a bumpy ride, or it could be a smooth one. Choose. At the end of the day, you get to choose. You get to choose your difficulty. So what does you can choose? But what God wants to is take you away from where you're supposed to be. So, I mean, many times along the way that, oh man, God has been waiting on me. God's just been waiting. But that's the God we serve. God wants to bring you to your promised land, but it's also okay. You're going to mumble and grumble and complain along the way. Want to see, right? Hold on. Alright, guys. Yeah. So sorry. Just had to go and order something. Now I'm done. Heading home. So yeah. It's just even, it's funny. So if I had to share a little testimony about myself, even to get to this journey of making videos and just sharing the knowledge and information I've acquired along the way, just so I could teach others, because I know that's what I want to do. I want to teach, right? This is one of them. I've known for years that I want to start a YouTube channel, and I've always been kind of searching for the right thing to talk about and what it is, you know what I mean? And believe it or not, interestingly enough, so I know God is so great. God made it so. Guess what? You need stuff to talk about. You need stuff to teach people. So guess what? I'm actually going to put you through some stuff so that you will learn, that you will acquire certain skill sets, and the gifting from that you'll be able to share with others. So it's almost as if, it's not even almost as if, it is. God is the creator. God is just using me as a character in his creation. And following along, some things I do not like, but sure enough, got stuff to teach about. I've got content. I've got a message. I've got gifting that I could spread to so many people that just doesn't stay with me. So I can't even be upset at the end of the day. So it's, Lord, whatever you're going to put me through, whatever you're trying to teach me, whatever it is, for a purpose. And although right now I cannot see what this purpose is right now, Lord, I just ask you, dear God, that you just work in me some patience, work in me a renewed mind, work in me to see your perspective on things, and not just be so narrow-minded and fixated about myself and my situation and my circumstances that I want to so desperately be out of. Dear Lord, however you're going to use me, I accept, I acknowledge your power, and I understand that at the end of all of this, dear Lord, you will still be here with me as you have been with me throughout all of this, and I'll be able to give you all the glory and all the praise. And my heart will be content, and I will be so thankful. That's how God is. So, God's doing a new thing. I don't know, God's doing a new thing. Take your lesson. And we serve a God that is not so, doesn't punish. We serve a God that's so loving. And even punishment at any given moment may seem painful, but it's done out of love for our best interests. So, all that being said, all right now, I'm about to be home soon, so I'm saying thank you for heading along with me, for listening to, yet again, one of my videos. Wasn't intended to do this, to start recording, but sometimes if you're a busy day, you don't always necessarily have the time, and sometimes you don't have the inspiration, but again, sure enough, I'm pretty sure if you go back to the beginning of the video, you'll see that I wasn't really in my flow just as yet, and sure enough, the Lord always comes through and brings a message that needs to be delivered to somebody, right? So, that's that. Anyhow, everybody, have yourself a great day, great afternoon, until the next time.